Good afternoon, everyone. I'm back. This is Grant Cohn covering the 49ers for you and for the Santa Rosa Press-Democrat and the Associated Press. And Hot Mike, this morning I broke down the tape from the 49ers' evisceration of the Carolina Panthers. Now I'm going to look forward to the next game. It's a quick week. We haven't done this on a quick week yet. Did this show up on Twitter? I'm just asking real quick because a couple of nights ago it didn't. And I had still have PTSD from that. Yes. Okay. So this is what the Niners need to do to beat the Cardinals. I know it sounds kind of ridiculous. Like, how could they not beat the Cardinals? They're 10-point favorites on the road. They're really good. The Cardinals seem mediocre. The Cardinals just lost to the Saints. The Niners should win this game, but it's a Thursday night game, which can be a bit of an equalizer. And it's on the road. And it's a divisional game. And the Niners have never faced Cliff Kingsbury before, and he hasn't faced them. So, and the Niners haven't beaten the Cardinals since 2014. So it might be a little bit closer than you would expect, kind of like how the game between the Niners and Redskins was closer than many people expected, although I told you the Redskins were going to cover that spread. I'll let you know. Could the Cardinals cover the spread as well? I think it's possible, yes. The Niners should win this game, and there's really not that much they need to do to take care of it. Hoover, Alabama. I love how you just put Hoover, Alabama. I'm just going to start signing in saying, Oakland, California, how you doing? No, for real, I'm doing that. Oakland, California, I'm back. There's not much the Niners have to do to take care of this win, but there's a couple of things. And basically, I'm focusing on their defense. I'm going to get to the Niners offense at the very end, but I want to focus on the defense because to me, the whole team is Kyler Murray. Their rookie quarterback. That's their whole team. He's their best player. You think about Cliff Kingsbury when he was coming into the league this year. He comes from Texas Tech. He runs the air raid offense. I was looking at some of the stats. That's a pass-first system. There were times when Patrick Mahomes was there, when Mahomes would throw 88 passes in a game. I think people were expecting that from Kyler Murray and the Cardinals this year. The whole idea is the pass replaces the run on a lot of plays. 4 wide receivers, not a lot of sophistication in the run game. Instead of pounding the ball into a brick wall repeatedly, spread the defense out and throw screen passes. Bubble screens, tunnel screens. Let the wide receivers become an extension of your run game. That was the idea. That's what people expected they were going to see from the Cardinals. That's not what they've gotten. The Cardinals don't have the wide receivers to pull that off. They don't have any speed outside. They have Larry Fitzgerald, who's 36. All their wide receivers are averaging like 10 yards a catch, 11 yards a catch. They don't have a tight end that they use consistently. They don't have a very good offensive line. They don't have the time or the speed to get downfield without Kyler Murray running around in circles and buying time. So if you look, they average 6.2 yards per pass attempt. That's 25th in the league. They're not a good passing offense. The Niners don't have to worry about that passing attack. With the D-line they have and the offensive line that's protecting Kyler Murray, they should be able to really dominate and hold him to a very low completion percentage, quarterback rating. The issue that the Niners have to deal with is that running game because it's unlike anything they've seen this season. First of all, averaging 4.8 yards per carry, and it's not just one running back. It doesn't matter really who the running back is. They don't have David Johnson. He's hurt. They don't have Chase Edmonds. He's hurt. They brought in Kenyon Drake. He'll be fine. The issue is Kyler Murray, the quarterback. He's the fastest guy in the team. He averages 5.5 yards per carry. He's the most dynamic, explosive, agile quarterback the Niners have faced this year. I don't know if he's the best, but he might be. And what he does best is run. The Niners have to have an answer for him and Kenyon Drake. What makes them especially difficult, beyond the fact that Kyler Murray's so dynamic and when he runs a simple zone read with the running back, all the eyes are going to go on the quarterback and he creates a bigger lane for the running back to run. But the thing that schematically makes Kyler Murray even more dangerous is the way Cliff Kingsbury spreads out his formation and spreads out the defense. What he likes to do a lot is use 4 wide receivers, no tight ends. And what they'll do is sometimes they'll line up 2 wide receivers as far away, as close to the sideline as possible on one side and 2 on the other side as close to the sideline as well. And they'll stack them. So one in front of the other, like 5, 6, 7 yards outside the numbers. And just by alignment, picture what that does to the defense. You have to honor those players. You can't just not match up. If they put two guys over there, you have to put two guys over there too. If you only put one, they'll throw a pass out there. One of the wide receivers will block. It'll be the easiest 50-yard touchdown ever. You got to match up. So by putting four guys as far away from the offensive line as possible, the tackles as possible, you pull four players from the defense out there. So now you got four defenders outside the numbers, plus probably a safety in the middle of the field, or two. So you've ensured that there are no more than six defenders in the box. Potentially. You could have four down linemen, a linebacker, and a strong safety, or just a linebacker. So what they're doing is, by making you honor those wide receivers on the outside, honor those screen passes, potentially, there's just fewer people around Kyler Murray. So when it's time for him to scramble, if he gets past the defensive line, if the defensive line gives him an opening and he's out, there's a whole lot of space, and it's him one-on-one against a linebacker or him one-on-one against a safety. So you're taking an explosive runner and making him even more dangerous. The way I would describe it is, think basketball. A guy like Stephen Curry, a point guard, he's really super-duper dangerous. But if you put a bunch of shooters around him, you put a shooter at power forward, a shooter at small forward, they both stand in the corner and spread the floor, a shooter at shooting guard, Klay Thompson. Now the defense has to honor those players. You can't just help off. And Stephen Curry has a one-on-one match, just one player between him and the basket. If he takes that player off the dribble, it's an easy layup. That's what Cliff Kingsbury creates for Kyler Murray. Spread the defense out, create one-on-one rushing matchups for your dynamic running back. It's a sound concept. It's not that sophisticated. It's not that complex. But the Niners need to be prepared for what's coming, and it's going to be tough for them to be prepared because they haven't faced anything like this. You know, most NFL offenses are a quarterback who doesn't move and three wide receivers, one tight end, one running back. You see it all the time. The Niners are equipped to stop that. They haven't faced this. So what they have to figure out is they got to know that the number one task is to take away Kyler Murray's legs. It's like Bill Belichick always says, the way to craft the game plan is you figure out who the best player is and take away what he does best. So the Cardinals' best player, Kyler Murray, what he does best is run. Take that away. But before you get to that part of the equation, you have to figure out how you want to match up with the Cardinals and their spread, air raid, college-style formations. When they go four wide receivers, which is most of the time, are you going to match up with four cornerbacks and two safeties, a dime defense? You could move Jimmy Ward from free safety to linebacker, basically, the dime back, and have Tavarius Moore be back at free safety with Jaquiski Tartt next to him. The problem with doing that and matching up is that you take one of your linebackers off the field, Quan Alexander, and he's better than Tavarius Moore. This was the same predicament that Vic Fangio would get into when they would play the Packers. The Packers would like to go to, this was like 8-9 years ago, the Packers would like to go to four wide receivers. They had a bunch of wide receivers. They had Randall Cobb and Greg Jennings and Jordy Nelson and James Jones. And they would put Fangio in a tough position because his nickel defense had the 11 best players. It had Alden Smith, and they had two great linebackers in the nickel defense, Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis. Well, if you go with four wide receivers, you put Fangio in a tough position. Do I match up and take one of my Hall of Fame caliber linebackers off the field and bring in my fourth defensive back? Or do I stick with my nickel defense and have my linebacker potentially cover a wide receiver? It's a tough question. Most teams tend to go dime against the Cardinals, and that's a big reason why the Cardinals are so good at running the ball, because they face a lot of soft defenses, soft dime defenses that are soft up the middle and give big running lanes for little running backs like Chase Edmonds, who's hurt now and was like a former undrafted guy, sixth-round guy, went to Fordham. He's okay, but a lot of it is schemed up their efficiency in the run game. So what the Niners need to think is it really important for us to be in a dime defense and match up with these wide receivers? Or should we just keep our 11 best players on the field, stick with our nickel defense, and concern ourselves with stopping the run? And that's what the Patriots did against the Rams in the Super Bowl. They were like, you know what? You guys want to run the ball. You don't want to pass. So what if you have three wide receivers on the field? We're not going to match up. We're going to stick with our base defense, take away the run, dare you to pass. I think that's basically what the Niners have to do. Stick with the nickel defense. Match up with the wide receivers if they line up near the sideline, but don't bring in a bunch of DBs. Don't make yourself worse against the run. Keep your nickel defense in there. Load up. Keep better run defenders in there. Don't take out Quan Alexander, who's fast and violent, for Tavarius Moore, who's a liability in run defense. Stick with the nickel. be confident. I mean, this is an elite defense. The Cardinals offense is not nearly elite. It's kind of gimmicky, and they do one thing well. Believe in yourself, trust in yourself. It's like I'm using basketball metaphors. It's like a 1-8 matchup in the playoffs. The 8 seed might be tricky. They might be a small ball team. The number 1 seed might be more conventional. They're more talented. The big mistake is for the 1 seed to adjust to the 8 seed, to change their identity to match up with the 8th seed's identity. Make the 8th seed adjust to you. Go with nickel. Force them to take you out of it. Force them to show that the nickel can't cover their 4 wide receiver packages before you abandon it. So I think that's one thing that they already know. I mean, Robert Saleh's been very, very confident. What's up, Lukey? Very, very confident. He's not matching up or following other people's defensive blueprints. He's trusting his team, his talents, his talented players. Like when they faced the Rams, they didn't do the Patriots' special 6-1 front that everyone else does against the Rams. They just ran their wide 9 defense and shut them down. So very confident from the Niners. They know that what they have to do. They're not going to get too cute matching up with those 4 wide receiver formations. And then next, after you've identified the identity of that offense, run first. After you've figured out how you're going to match up with their gimmicky formations, nickel, not dime, now you got to figure out what is the schematically do we do to take away their run game. And to me, it starts and ends with Kyler Murray. You got to make him be a quarterback. And that means it comes down to the defensive line. We talked about this years ago with Russell Wilson, always when the Niners had Aldon Smith and Justin Smith. You're not going to sack him. You might sack him once or twice, but basically it's more important to contain him in the pocket than to sack him. Because a lot of times if everyone's going after him and trying to get him down and diving after him and abandoning their rush lanes and freelancing and doing whatever it takes, bringing him down by any means necessary, you're also creating rushing lanes. And that's what he wants. He's more dangerous running than throwing because the receivers aren't that good. What's his arm like, though? That's a good question. Watching him, his arm's really, really good. He's a baseball player. He has a really strong arm, and it's naturally accurate. The issue isn't him as a thrower. It's the offensive line and the receivers. It's just not a sophisticated passing scheme. There's no speed outside. Andy Isabella, they drafted him. He's supposed to be fast. They don't use him. In the future, it's going to be a very difficult offense run and pass. Right now, they just don't have the weapons and supporting cast to pass the ball very much. So, on third down, Nick Bosa, DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead, D Ford, they're going to be licking their chops because the Cardinals' offensive line isn't that good. And the biggest mistake they can get is to get greedy, to all sell out, to get the quarterback, to get the highlight, to get the sacks, to get the stats, and create holes in the line, holes in the B gaps, in the A gap, just exit ways for Kyler Murray to scramble for 8 yards on 3rd and 7. That's going to be their best play on third down. Kyler Murray scrambles. So this is the same thing that Fangio used to preach. It's about rush lane containment. You don't want to abandon your rush lane. Stay where you're supposed to be and rush gradually. It's a slow, steady rush. It doesn't have to be explosive. Like, for example, on third down, Robert Saleh likes to call lots of twists games where defensive linemen sort of trade spots. One guy will go here, one guy will go here. They'll twist. Well, they probably shouldn't do that against the Cardinals because if the twist works, you sack them. It's great. If it doesn't work and you pick it up, you create huge running lanes. Guys are out of position. Guys are out of their gaps. Well, I think the Niners, they don't have to do too much to win this game because the Cardinals' passing game isn't that good anyway. Just contain them in the pocket. Don't worry about sacking them. The sacks will come or they won't. It's a win for the Niners if they can keep him in that spot and make him play quarterback. Just make him throw. Because he's 5'10", and the Niners' 2 defensive tackles are 6'8", Buckner and Armstead. Make Kyler Murray try to throw around or through or over or under those 2 guys. Make him figure out that equation because he's not going to. You don't have to sack him. Contain him in the pocket. Make him throw over the tall trees in the middle. You'll knock him down. The receivers won't be open. You'll intercept the ball. If you sack him, great, but that's not necessary. The Niners can win this game sacking Kyler Murray 0 times. They can keep him in the pocket, never sack him, and limit him to a quarterback rating of 50. That's what they need to do. cage him in. Cage him in. Don't let him out. And it's going to come down to the defensive line more than anything, because the Cardinals can spread out the linebackers, the defensive backs, and create huge open pastures for the quarterback. The defensive line has to be the gate. Okay, so you keep Kyler Murray in the pocket. You take away the run. You keep Kyler Murray in the pocket. You match up with nickel. And then what do you do on third down when he is in the pocket? 3rd and 7. 4 wide receivers. Kenyon Drake's there. And Kenyon Drake's been on the team for 7 days. Less than that. He's there because the other 2 running backs are hurt and he's fast. He fits their run game. He's a terrible blocker. As someone, you should know about Kenyon Drake. He's been with the Dolphins for a few years. He's fast. He never started. And that's because he's a terrible, terrible blocker. So, on 3rd and 7, when he's in the game because they don't have any other running backs who are healthy, and he stays in the block and protect Kyler Murray, one of the linebackers you'd figure would be spying Kyler. So you put Quan Alexander or Fred Warner, either one, spying Kyler. Wherever he goes, Fred Warner goes too. So you do man-to-man coverage on the outside because the wide receivers aren't fast. Spy on Kyler, and then the other linebacker, is covering the running back, Drake. So if Drake stays in the block, that linebacker does, it's not called a blitz, it's called a green dog. I don't know if you've heard this term before, but coaches are very passionate about the difference between a blitz and a green dog. And they make the point that writers have no idea what the difference is. That really a blitz is when you bring a secondary player, a safety or a corner. When you bring an extra linebacker, it's called a dog, apparently. And a green dog is the linebackers in man-to-man coverage on 3rd and 7 say. He's covering the running back. The running back doesn't run a route. The running back stays in the blitz. So rather than do nothing and stand there covering no one, don't let the offense have an extra blocker. He stays in the block. You rush too. And when you rush against Kenyon Drake, don't run around him. Run right over that guy because he's a terrible blocker. He's not going to protect Kyler Murray. If they have opportunities with Kenyon Drake as the last line of defense for Kyler Murray, they got to green dog his ass and knock him down. See what I'm saying? Now you just learned what a green dog is. It's not a blitz. Safety blitz, nickel blitz, corner blitz, those are blitzes. When you bring a linebacker, it's a dog. And a green dog is when it's like a green light. It's green because the running back's not running. He's not running a route. He's standing right there. I will knock his ass over then. Green dog. I like that. All right. So those are the four things the Niners need to do on defense. I haven't even gotten to their offense. If they do all that on defense, the Cardinals should score 0 points. The Niners have been winning games with their offense, just shutting people out, shutting them down. Respect the run game. Understand that it's the run game you have to worry about. The pass game doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying, Steve? Have a plan for that 4 wide receiver formation. Don't let Kyler Murray run. Just cage him in the pocket and make him throw over Buckner and Armstead. Don't even worry about sacks. Just make him throw. When they keep Drake in there, flatten him. What about Larry Grant? He was a good player. And then finally, let's talk about the offense. Kyle Shanahan was going on and on about how good the Cardinals defense is. On and on and on. Yesterday, which is fine. Bill Belichick does the same thing. Belichick praises the opponent and then destroys them. Builds you up, tears you down, makes the opponent think they're actually good. And then when they destroy you, it's an even bigger accomplishment because everyone comes in thinking, oh, this is going to be a tough game. It's going to be tough. Shanahan saying it's the best defense they've faced this year. I don't know about that. All I know is the defense has given up 4.7 yards per carry. So right there we see they're not in any way equipped to stop the Niners. And then in the passing game, they're giving up a quarterback rating of 116. So they can't stop the run or the pass. Other than that, hell of a defense. They do have Chandler Jones, excellent pass rusher. And they do have Patrick Peterson, who is who Kyle Shanahan called the best corner in the game, better than Richard Sherman. He's been hurt. No, he was suspended the first 6 games. He's back. He does make their defense better, but still, it's not that good of a defense. They gave up 30-something points last week. Shanahan tried to make the point that it was close for a while. They gave up 30-something points last week. They also have Suggs. He's old. Their defensive coordinator's Vance Joseph, who's not good. The Niners worked him over last year when they played the Broncos. He was the Broncos head coach last year. The defense is nothing to worry about. The Niners defense should limit the Cardinals offense to like 9 points at most. And as long as the Niners offense isn't horrible, as long as they don't commit 5 turnovers on the road on a Thursday game, they'll be fine. So what I want to say is, it comes down to, again, good Jimmy or bad Jimmy. It should be mostly good Jimmy against Arizona. Like I said, they're giving up a quarterback rating of 116. Everything's open. Remember when George Kittle went for like 250 yards last year? That was against Vance Joseph. They should be fine. The only way they could really blow this is if they start taking shots into Patrick Peterson's coverage. There's no reason to do that. They might be able to beat Patrick Peterson, or Peterson might intercept Jimmy Garoppolo. He intercepted Drew Brees last week. Jimmy Garoppolo has a habit of staring down at least one pass per game. I think, to me, the Niners should win this game as long as they shut down that Arizona run game and never, ever, 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 ever throw into Patrick Peterson's coverage. It's not worth it. They don't need to do it. Games shouldn't be that close. Don't take that risk, because bad Jimmy makes an appearance once a game. And if bad Jimmy's throwing to Patrick Peterson, that could be a pick 6. Don't let it happen. Don't tempt fates. Leave Patrick Peterson alone. Throw the other direction. Throw anywhere else. The other starting corner is a rookie, Byron Murphy. He's giving up a quarterback rating of 122 this season. Throw at him. Throw at the safety, Budda Baker. Throw at the linebacker, Hassan Reddick. Anyone but Patrick Peterson. So, who am I ignoring? What's happening? I was just making my final point. Those are my points. And the thing that's scary about the Patrick Peterson one is updates on our hurt running backs. The thing that's scary about the Patrick Peterson one is Jimmy Garoppolo was asked about Patrick Peterson yesterday. And Jimmy Garoppolo saying, it's really important. Fitzgerald? Okay, I'll ask about Fitzgerald. I'll answer about Fitzgerald in a second. But what Jimmy said about Patrick Peterson was it's important to take a couple of shots at him per game. You don't want to never throw at him. Well, that's the right thing to say. You don't want to tell the Cardinals ahead of time we're never going to throw wherever Peterson is, we're going the other. But you don't want, he better not. He better not. That's all I'm saying. Because the only way the Niners lose this game is if Robert Saleh can't figure out how to stop a quarterback-driven run game. Not going to happen. Or if Jimmy Garoppolo reverts to brutal Jimmy, horrendous Jimmy, atrocious Jimmy, and pulls a Colin Kaepernick from 2015 and throws 4 picks. The reason I can't be all in on the 49ers yet is because I was at that practice when Jimmy Garoppolo threw 5 picks in a row. Not in a practice, in a row. 5 straight attempts. I know that's in his bag of tricks. It's in his golf bag. He could pull that out. He could pull that club out any day. The Niners have done everything they can to make sure that's not going to happen. Kyle Shanahan calls the easiest passes every week. Screens, dump-offs, wide open throws. Still, Jimmy Garoppolo has it in him to do that again. Another 5-pick day, a Nathan Peterman performance. He should be fine as long as he doesn't throw at Patrick Peterson. No one else is going to pick him off, most likely. I was there when Jimmy threw 5 INTs in a row. When people say the Niners are going to win the Super Bowl this year, I just think back to that day. I can't get over that. All I know is the Niners may have the best team in the league, but Russell Wilson has thrown 17 touchdowns and 1 interception this year. 17-1. Jimmy's at 9-7. So eventually, when they go against a team that has like a real quarterback, not Kyler Murray, because he's not a real quarterback yet. He's good, but he has 7 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Jimmy could be the reason that this team doesn't go as far as it should. Anyway, when will we start throwing deep? No, I got to answer about Larry Fitzgerald. I was asked about Larry Fitzgerald. The way I see this offense, this passing game, I was watching the Cardinals this morning. It's just a series of short throws. They don't use a tight end, so they always have 5-man protection, which means the ball has to come out instantly. You can't really hold the ball long. Don't give receivers time to get downfield because any blitz will get home. There's no protection. So the ball comes out. It's mostly a series of slants and curl routes and screens. That's their offense. Larry Fitzgerald fits into that because he's like a big tight end. He's like a big wide receiver or a small tight end. But if you look across the board, Christian Kirk, who's their more explosive wide receiver, averaging 10 yards a catch. Larry Fitzgerald, same thing. It's a really, really small ball passing game. And the only way that they create quote unquote explosive plays, long plays in either the run game or the pass game is through Kyler Murray's improvisation. And the ground, they don't really call a lot of runs for him. They treat him like a drop back pocket passer. Maybe that's what he wants to be. But he will scramble. That's their best play in the run game. Kyler scramble. Their best play in the passing game, Kyler scramble. And then stay behind the line of scrimmage and throw it deep. Because Larry Fitzgerald needs a year and a half to get downfield. Roughly. So Kyler Murray can give him a year and a half. He can buy time the way Russell Wilson used to and get him down the field. That's their offense. Otherwise, it's a modest passing game and a simple zone read running game. Very modest. Not a lot. It's a lot like Chip Kelly. There's not a lot of scheme there. Really not a lot of scheme there. It's a gimmick. They want to be the 4 wide receiver team, and the idea is NFL defenses aren't used to seeing that, defending that. You want to be different than the rest of the league. So they're different in that way. But they're not sophisticated. They're not particularly talented. They haven't been together long. Their head coach is new. They should lose. The only thing working in their favor is they're at home. It's a Thursday night game. The Niners have never played them, and they can't really prepare their players as well as they would like to because no practices this week. So that could make this an artificially close game the way the rain made the Redskins-Niners game closer than you would expect. Okay? That's all I got. What I want to say is you guys gave me a lot of nice feedback this morning and ideas for how to do my film session in the future. This is not going to work, what I'm doing, filming my television. It's pretty lo-fi and it's all choppy because whenever I plug my TV HDMI cable into my computer just can't handle it. So what I'm going to do is I have OBS. I don't know if you guys know what OBS is, but I'm going to start doing my film sessions on my computer, and I'm going to film them like Twitch style, where I stream my screen like I'm streaming myself playing video games. Instead, I'm going to be streaming myself going through film. I think it'll be better. It won't be me videotaping a big screen. It'll be you watching my computer screen. I think it'll be a lot better. I'll have to figure out how to do it. I may not be able to get to do it by next week, but I'm getting a new computer and it should be easy. Anyway, that's going to be a better system. This whole film your TV is so beneath me. So, OBS, I'm going to do it like Twitch, like the video game players that my 9-year-old nephew watches all the time. Who will Peterson be covering? He'll be covering Emmanuel Sanders. And Peterson will move around. If you put Emmanuel Sanders in the slot, Peterson will be there too. So just leave him alone. You don't have to throw to Emmanuel Sanders to win this game. Continue to run the ball like you have because the run game is working and the Cardinals can't run the ball. Throw to Pettis. Throw to Kittle. Throw to Kittle as much as you want. Kittle's going to be open. Plus, we can see you wear basketball shorts with a suit jacket in the reflection, bro. That's a good point. So that'll allow me to get back to wearing half cash. Business on top, party on the bottom. Using OBS, you can do a split screen or picture in picture. No, I didn't do a score prediction. I should, but I didn't. But I should, but I'm not. Damn. I mean, the Niners should win this game. They're 10-point favorites. I'm going to say the Cardinals are going to cover. I always pick the home team to cover when they're 10-point dogs. Like, it's hard for a road team to go anywhere and win by more than 10, especially on Thursday. Come on, man. I know. So I'm going to say, damn, you caught me off guard. All right, I'm going to save that for my PD preview. I'm writing an article right now. I'll have that in there. You got me, man. I was unprepared for this. Dang, Steven. Whew. All right, next time I'll set my game up. Shoot a number. Man. It should be something like 21-13. 21-13. Something like that. The Niners don't have to do much on offense. Their defense is going to win this game. I think Kyler Murray's going to have some runs, but Robert Saleh basically will adjust and shut that down. Wisnowski says 14-6. Yeah, that's a good one. About an 8-point win, 8 to 9 points. That's what I see. I don't think it's going to be a 35-point win like last week. The Niners seem to be a little on again, off again. And then Thursday night on the road, I feel like it's an equalizer. Not an equalizer, but an equalizer. Will both the Pats and Niners be undefeated after this week? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to try to upload this to YouTube, but for whatever reason, I don't know if you guys use Periscope, but in the personal section, you can enable save video to camera roll. I've done that since Sunday, and it hasn't worked yet, so maybe they've been too long. I don't know what that's about, but I'm trying to profit from my Periscope videos, and Periscope doesn't pay you. YouTube does. So if you guys want to help me out with that one, I'll give you a nickel to the first person who helps me. Why don't you stream directly on YouTube? That's a good question. Because I like how Periscope links directly to Twitter. I have all these followers on Twitter. It's easy for you guys to see that, oh, Grant's on, and it, get a tech sponsor. I know, right? I'm awful I was an English major at UCLA. That's why I use Periscope, because it's linked to Twitter, and I have 8,000 followers, and it's easy for you guys. If I did YouTube Live, would it connect instantly to Twitter? Probably not, so I'd probably have fewer viewers. I don't know. That's why I guess I do Periscope. It's easier for you guys. You wouldn't know where to find it. It'd be harder to find it. You can do both the same time. Oh. I can do both at the same time? Really? No way. See, I don't know anything about technology. Thank you. I can just do both at the same time, huh? How? On my phone? Or do I have to have a laptop? Wow. You guys blew my mind. Blowing my mind. All right, well, I'll mess around. You might see me popping in and out on Periscope and then deleting them. Just, yeah. Laptop for YouTube. Okay. All right, then. Yeah, Periscope's good. There's also something that I've figured out on Periscope. There's a new function that allows you to invite other people on with you in a split screen. So what I can do next week is have like a call-in radio show where if you guys want, you can come on and not just type a comment, but be face-to-face with me and we can argue about something. I'll give you 90 seconds to make your best point and we can go back and forth and I can do it with a few of you guys if you'd like. I think it'd be fun. There is a chat feature on Hot Mic, but I can actually go split screen and choose which one of you guys can come on. So think about that in the future. Get Larry on. I know. Larry, I'm looking at you. We're going to have a major debate, me and you, face to face. No, I'm not putting you on the spot like that. But if you guys want to do that, keep it in mind. I'm not exactly sure how to do it, but I'll figure it out. So get ready to debate me next time on Periscope. Get on with the show already, Grant. Damn. Crocker is here. Bring him on. Yeah, if Crocker wants to jump on, I can bring him on. Although I don't think he really wants to come on with me. I don't think he's ready for this. He's scared of me, man. He's scared of me, man. He's not ready for all this. That's right, Eric. I'm calling you out. Next time I see you in here, I'm bringing you on right away. We're debating. Real time. Larry Mullins says get Swasti on. Okay, I'll bring her on. She knows football. She's good, and she has very definite opinions too. I'll bring her. You should interview players. I will. Interviewed John Lynch. No, I'll interview a player soon. You're right. It's time. Okay, guys, I'm going to see if this uploaded to my phone. I'm going to go finish writing my article. Thanks so much for watching. This was a 2 Periscope day. Tomorrow, interview with Dante. I'll go over and ask him if he wants to. You know what Dante and I should do? It would be so money. It would make both of our careers. We could stage the Jim Rome, Chris Everett, or Jim Everett little showdown. Like I tell Dante, look, let's sit down and you tell me, hey, look, Grant, you want to call me a bust? Call me a bust to my face. Do it right now. And I'll be sitting there like, all right, bust. And then he can come over and punch me in the face. And then we're both famous. You know, pull a Jim Rome. Anyway, if you see Dante, let him know I'm trying to do that. I want to be like you when I grow up, Kev. Tell Dante he can get a free lick in on me if we stage it all out. Chrissy Everett. That's how you would get your views up for sure. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Come on, Dante, let's do this. Punch me in the face. Let's get this thing rolling. Pettis to you is like Baker Mayfield to Cowherd. No, I disagree. It's real personal between Cowherd and Mayfield, which is strange because Baker is really rude. He's like stoked the flames. Pettis isn't rude at all. I feel bad doing that to Pettis. Pettis is sensitive. Pettis, he's a lot like me. I'm a cat guy. I just hurt his feelings. Baker Mayfield is like the worst. He's Johnny Manziel without the drinking problem. I cannot stand that guy. Nick Mullins is a better quarterback right now than Baker Mayfield. No joke. Look at their numbers. They're about the same size. They have about the same numbers in college, in high school. Baker Mayfield's famous. I don't know why. Maybe he's from a bigger town, probably because he grew up in Texas. I have no idea. Nick Mullins from Hoover, Alabama. Maybe they don't scout quarterbacks as well over there. But I would rather have Nick Mullins than Baker Mayfield. Forget Baker Mayfield, man. They have the same physical attributes, and Baker Mayfield's in 1,000 commercials. I see Nick Mullins every day. He's not in commercials. He's studying his playbook. He's not in feuds with writers and radio commentators or personalities. He's like actually dedicated to his craft. Give me Nick Mullins over Baker Mayfield any day. Give me Kyler Murray over Baker Mayfield. They went to the same school. Kyler's better. This is going to be a different task. A more difficult task than that Cleveland game. Against Cleveland, they did a great job of keeping Baker in the pocket, containing him. They could do their best to contain Kyler Murray in the pocket and still fail. It's hard to keep that guy in the pocket. He's a better thrower and a better runner than Baker Mayfield. The chip on his shoulder is his thing, though. Okay. That's great. Give me Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins has a chip on his shoulder. Nick Mullins is the most driven football player I've ever seen. He's not getting in feuds with Matt Mayoko or Joe Shasky on 95.7 The Game or seeking out anyone who slighted him. No, he's a pro. Baker's not a pro. Baker's a joke. And I'm not just saying that because Nick Mullins' grandfather is watching this. I really believe that. I wrote that last year before I knew who Larry Mullins was. That's the truth. You know it. Riley going to be a head coach in the NFL next year? Yeah, maybe, probably, sort of. Mullins is a focused guy, always working. Yeah, that's right. Nick would be 7-0 right now, too. I believe that. We need to keep Nick. Let him keep growing. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Okay, guys. Games tomorrow. I'll be on Hot Mic with my dad. Listen. Sync it up with your television. I don't even know who the regular announcer is going to be. You don't want to listen to them. They don't know about the Niners. They ain't got no Niner insight. They don't know about that Niner history. Watch us. It'll be the best 3 hours you ever spent. And I'll be back in a few days. I'm going to work on that OBS so that the next time I do a film breakdown, it's way better than the one today. Thank you so much for being my tech advisors. I come on here and ask basically your help. I come here with more questions for you than insight these days. And I'm sorry for that because I'm supposed to be the one with the answers. All right. See you guys tomorrow. What stories can we look forward to on the broadcast? I'm not going to tell you, but there'll be some good ones. See you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.